What's up, everyone? This is the Go Long Podcast, and we are live at Hamburg Brewing. Good to see you, buddy.
It's almost hard to believe. You're traveling at training camps, vacations. I'm doing XFL travels.
Yeah, your travels with the XFL, baby.
I had some wild travels, too. The
Hawaii?
showcases, Hawaii, Arizona.
Love it.
Jackson State, Deion Sanders. That was good. We had some good turnouts. But yeah, the travel has calmed down for both of us.
Yeah.
And guess where we are?
All children are accounted for, which means we can come
Hamburg
over to HBC.
Brewing.
And we're outside. If you're watching the podcast right now, we are in their glorious outdoor tent, which has been revamped, refurbished, blown up to epic proportions. And this is where we're hoping to do Go Long Extravaganza 2.0 to start this 2022 football season. So we're going to try to lock in a date, figure that out. But come on in. So many beers, everything you'd ever want, IPAs, ciders, sours. And what are we drinking here right now, Jim?
This is the new one. A little bit cider now. We got to do it for kickoff time. Preseason doesn't count, but it still counts for beer drinking.
It does.
You got to get ready for the regular season. And we got our 6% little bit cider now. Outside right now with this, drinking it here, this fits.
I like that combination of a cider.
Yeah.
It still has that kick. Still got that
good.
6.0.
Well, I was saying, I don't think they make anything less anymore. They come out with like 5 beers a week here at Hamburg, and they're all like 6% or higher. So.
We had great meals here too.
New menu.
It's
been out for a little bit, but it was our first time trying it.
Yes. Nashville hot chicken, dill chicken wings.
I like all the variations on the menu. Some good options.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, we're not going to talk about exhibition football. We made that clear. We're not going to break these games down.
We're good there. Joe Judge and Patricia are doing their thing in New England.
Doing their thing, calling plays. We're going to, we definitely should devote another episode to the Patriots because we had Matthew Fairburn on, right, when he was still on the Patriots beat. He has since returned to Buffalo. He's covered.
We need
Buffalo
him to stay
Sabres.
up there maybe one more year to cover this offensive coordinating position they have going.
It's just bizarre. I mean, you've got a young quarterback
word.
who's trending in the right direction, and this is the coaching you are going to surround him with. 2 failed head coaches who don't know much about offensive football, at least to our knowledge. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, it's another episode. Let's let it play out. Regular season's around the corner.
Yeah. Is there, we want to kind of get into a couple things. We're going to I think it's fun to look back, right? I think that with your expertise and experience, you've been in these draft rooms, Jim. You've been with the Eagles, the Saints, the Bills. And with the Bills, I mean, you are second in command, as our listeners know. So I think you got to give a draft a good 3, 4, 5 years to figure out, all right, was it a good pick? Was it a bad pick?
Yeah, three is usually the standard.
So we're giving this.
Yeah, we gave this one time.
We gave this one 5 years.
2016 redraft.
We're looking at 2016. So this is really when we first met. I was on the Bills beat in 2015, and we bumped into each other at the Senior Bowl. I remember you were there watching Carson Wentz.
I remember.
Yeah.
We were talking under the bleachers there, walking.
Yeah, making sure, nobody with the Bills saw you, because God forbid, if you were caught talking to me, Jim, off with both of our heads, really.
Neither one of us is allowed near there. Me for certain reasons, you for others, I guess.
Yeah, you got to
keep and go long.
You got to control and
keep
manipulate.
It go long a little bit of distance. No, but it goes back like that. It's pretty funny to think about.
It does, but it was an interesting time.
Well, you brought
for
up
your franchise,
yeah,
too.
And you brought up the 16 draft, and when I went back and looked at it, I was like, ooh, I forgot some of the names. And you look at it when you revisit a draft. Sometimes it makes you realize the NFL spends a lot of money on scouting. And man, that's like hitting 300 gets you in the Hall of Fame in baseball. I would say the same thing for a draft.
I think that's probably why, the Cincinnati Bengals are in such great shape now. They got to figure it out. They've got 3, 4 scouts.
They finally committed.
So they're good.
Yeah, they figured things out with Joe Burrow. But point being, it's fun to go back and look and just see where players were valued, how they panned out. And this one was tricky. We're going to kind of redraft maybe the top 10, knowing what we know now.
It's kind of good to hold teams and individuals accountable. You know, it sounds like we're all serious with it, but it's good to see who's kind of right and wrong, right?
It's just like self-scouting. You know, it's one of the biggest things that's done in the NFL. Film study, self-scouting is the biggest thing.
So I figured, you know, we'll get into this draft, Jim, and then we'll just kind of branch out into some
see where it goes.
Random topical conversation from there. So, you know, we'll see how these ciders hit us and go from there. But
ciders are hitting good.
Just to recap, I'll just kind of rattle off how it went down in real time in 2016. So remember, the Rams were still – Les Snead was the GM, but Jeff Fisher's the head coach. They make the big move up. Jared Goff goes number 1. Go along, friend of the program.
Hey, I give Brad Holmes a lot of credit or loyalty or something, but they're rolling with him again.
I want to talk about those Lions.
We will.
At some point.
We will, because I have a bet on them.
Dan
already.
Campbell has me ready to gnaw on your forearm right now.
I took them again.
You did.
Over, I think it's 6.5 wins this year.
Last year was 4.
Yeah, it was bad, and I lost.
And you lost it.
So I got to run it back out of spite.
Are there any patrons here that you could just track down and, you know, gnaw at their kneecap, get your cannibal out?
I don't know anything he ever talks about, but I'm hoping that golf plays a little better, and I don't know.
I don't know what he talks about, but I love it. God, I love it.
But I said this last year. Every time he talks, it's always about getting beat up and how hard it is because they're always getting beat down. But it doesn't matter.
We're going to effing tread water.
It's going to take to the fourth quarter for you to beat us, you know, or I know, now we'll beat you at the end. But he's got to get past you don't always have to like tread water and bite kneecaps. You could just play really good football and win. But whatever it takes.
Easy. Now.
Whatever it takes.
Easy. You know everybody who listens.
There's 32 teams. There's every team in college football, high school. Everybody's getting ready to start. They're all saying the same thing. It's either last year was embarrassing, and that's not going to happen again, right? We've all been there. Or you had a good year. Hey, we're on top. They're all coming for us now. If we don't show up, they're coming for. There's only so much you can talk about, and that's what half the teams are. You know,
it's kind of like, you know, back in high school when you'd crank call somebody, you could pull up like a soundboard on your computer and just hit different buttons. You could really do that with head coach.
Like we were 1-15, so let's do I'm not going through that again this year's speech. We were 15-1. We won. You know, we made it
7-9 bullshit.
Hey, we're not gonna, you know, the Bills. Hey, we're never gonna let that. We're not gonna let an opportunity go by again. Boom, press play. Like, but it's just what it is. I mean, you can only motivate so many ways.
And the psychology of all of that as a coach fascinates me. It's a big reason why I'm always banging the drum for Mike Tomlin, because I feel like he motivates, inspires without it coming across as fake or corny or just somebody he's not. No, it's real. It's real. Yeah. And it's hard to pull off. I mean, not a lot of coaches can.
The most important thing is his players buy into it.
They buy into it, where, you know, I can only compare to the teams I covered on the beat, but, you know, Mike McCarthy in Green Bay, man, I can remember Evan Dietrich Smith, center for the team, saying like, yeah, you know, we'd watch, he'd pull up movie clips on the screen, you know, to try to make a point.
Yep.
And he was overthinking it a little bit. He goes, a lot of guys, Dietrich Smith kind of admitted, a lot of guys kind of roll their eyes and trying a little too hard this day. Where you're dealing with grown men. Like, we're not in high school at Ellicottville Central about to play Maple Grove.
Keyword, I always say, professional.
Yeah.
These are full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Like, think about all of us in the real world, not in football. Like, we show up, we don't need motivated to show up for our job. Like, we're showing up for our job to do the best we can because that's our job. Yeah, football's a job. You don't have to. My point is this. I like it. I get it. It's fun.
And Rex was good. All-time motivator, right? Eric Wood told us. Yeah.
Always had a way to make it. So they have to try. They do.
At least he was authentic, but
no, he was.
You know, it's a story for another pod.
Yeah,
yeah.
But at some point, just have good players, get a quarterback.
All right, I'm sorry. We said we were going to digress.
Okay, yeah, back to the 16 draft. All right. I got caught on the line. Look, we're done with Rodgers and Mahomes. We beat them into the ground.
Yes.
Now I feel like Detroit's creeping into that for us,
Hey.
where Goff and Man Campbell, as Levitard them call him.
I like it.
All right.
I like it. All right. So
16 draft.
the Rams took Goff. The Eagles at number 2 take Carson Wentz. The San Diego Chargers at number 3 take Joey Bosa. The
Ding,
Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott for
That's the guy I'm interested in talking about.
number 5. Jacksonville takes Jaylen Ramsey. Number 6. The Ravens take Ronnie Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
At 7, the Niners go with DeForest Buckner.
Mm-hmm.
8, the Titans take tackle Jack Conklin.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, the Chicago Bears select Leonard Floyd, who
Good player.
the
Maybe
New York
not.
Giants would have loved to have taken at number 10.
No question.
Instead, they take
they
Eli
had him ready
Apple.
to go.
That's right. I'll just round it out to 15. 11, Tampa Bay takes Vernon Hargraves. The Saints go Sheldon Rankins at number 12.
I like
And
him.
then we all remember where we were when we saw this pick. At 13, the Miami Dolphins select Laramie Tunsil. I should say where we were earlier in the draft because the
that
picture
was
of him in a
I
ball,
remember that in our that was a big thing in the draft room.
which we can get into that
Yeah,
if,
we'll
you,
talk
if
about
you
it.
want.
Sure.
At 14, the Raiders take hard-hitting safety Carl Joseph. And at 15, and this kind of deserves its own story too, the Browns take Corey Coleman, a wide receiver who completely flamed down. And if you remember, the Browns were at number 2 overall. Could have taken Wentz if they wanted a quarterback. And, you know, they're all in the analytics with Sashi Brown. They just keep trading back. They get all these picks. I don't know what they had, like 16, 17 picks. And most of them just amounted to nothing. So back to your point, you got to just draft good players.
It's always easier said than done. But
And then just later in this draft for our listeners, I mean, Jim and Doug Whaley and Rex Ryan, you guys went with Shaq Lawson, 19 overall.
Yep.
And then for our Packers listeners out there, this was the Kenny Clark draft. So we have
who's coming into our redraft,
which I can't wait to hear this. But yeah, Kenny Clark goes 27th overall. Not to go on and on here, Jim, but just notable other players. Obviously, this was Dak Prescott in the 4th round. We've touched on how you were very high on Dak.
Yep. As a staff in general, we were good on the Bills. Were very high on Dak. And we talked about that. But in the redraft, I kind of just wrote down the redraft.
Right, let's do it. Let's get into the redraft. Yeah. All right. So first overall,
instead of Jared Goff, would be Dak Prescott. Would we agree? This is not set in stone. This is for discussion.
It's got to be a quarterback, right?
I would think he would, knowing what we know now, right? Redraft, we know what we know. We're redrafting. Dak's got to be the first pick. It's a franchise quarterback, regardless of anything else.
And this is just where the NFL blows your mind, right? I mean, Jerry Jones, that draft, his heart is set on Paxton Lynch. He wants Paxton Lynch.
He was so
in the worst possible way. And he doesn't get his man in the first. He went 26 to Denver. And then, he doesn't get Paxton Lynch. I mean, this is at press conferences. You can look it up. I mean, he is almost on the verge of tears. He's so emotional that he didn't get his man and wishes he'd done everything in his power to get him.
Think about that.
Then he wants Connor Cook, right? Doesn't get Connor Cook. So they settle on Dak Prescott. Terrible. Right? I mean, they stumble into their quarterback.
Into their franchise quarterback. Yeah. We all beat our heads into trying to find one. But
to their credit, took him. And in retrospect, you probably would have taken Dak ahead of, Adolphus Washington in the 3rd.
We would have taken him ahead of Shaq Lawson.
Yeah.
Oh, that should have been our pick.
Absolutely.
Should have been our first round pick. It should have been the first pick of that draft.
So in the redraft, he's
Dak's 1. Now here's who I went with 2. I went with Joey Bosa. Based on what he's done and to get an edge. To me, it's quarterback value, and then to me, you're going pass rusher or corner because they affect the quarterback, and that's how I would value positions. So I would take Bosa 2. 3, Jaylen Ramsey. Now that would be, I'm not going to argue if you would say Ramsey over Bosa, whatever. I wouldn't argue that. So far, you liking it?
Completely agree.
What I'm saying? I'm not saying.
I mean, you could say Bosa or Ramsey number 1.
I'm saying.
But the Ramsey and the quarterback, it's so important.
Franchise QB is.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Ramsey's the standard.
But Bosa and Ramsey went. I mean, those were good. Those teams were honed in on them. They've delivered. Now, here's where it gets fun, I think. I went, and this is crazy to me, but the impact he's had, 4th pick, Derrick Henry. And I know it's a running back, and I know how we are with values on running backs, but based on what he's done for a team that doesn't have a true quarterback, he's made them relevant, or he's helped make them relevant.
Derrick Henry went 45th overall. So here are some of the names I had taken ahead of him: Jihad Ward, Austin Johnson, Kamalai Correa, Reggie Ragland. Sorry, Jim. Sterling Shepard.
Well, we
Noah
were kind of
Spence.
loaded at the time at running back, so we weren't too concerned.
Ooh, there is a name I see you don't have on your list. I totally
That's
forgot.
why I asked you.
Okay.
I wanted to throw some guys in there. So,
but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, look where the Titans are now, and they had DeMarco Murray. I think they had signed DeMarco Murray that year too. Or maybe, you know what? No, he was a year or two into it, but he was at the top of his game, it seemed. Yet they still drafted Derrick Henry, and now he's
worthy. He'd be a top 10 pick, regardless of where we are. I mean, I have him 4th, but okay. I went 5th. I went left tackle Ronnie Stanley for Baltimore because he's rock solid. Now, injuries have been a little bit of an issue for him, but when he's healthy, he's legit. Now, 6th, Chris Jones, defensive tackle, KC.
This is where Kenny Clark would say, "Hold on there, guys."
That's fine. I almost don't think it's close between those two, but I'm not, like I said, I'm always up for debates. But Chris Jones,
he's a beast.
Good luck. You just don't find guys with his length and speed and power, athleticism.
How did he fall to 37?
I have to remember.
There was some off the field stuff.
I'd have to think about that. I'd have to check on that one. Nothing enough that you were concerned that he fell.
Isn't it just crazy? I mean, we love to just anoint.
The redraft is fun, though.
It is, because we want to anoint front offices as idiots or geniuses. And, I mean, there's Titans smart enough to take Derrick Henry where they took him, and he's high in the redraft. He's maybe the best running back in football. He is
the Titans have another guy coming up on this list.
But still, at 33, what did the Titans do? They took Kevin Dodd. Right? I mean, you take a guy who played 2 games.
Now, that's the other part of the redraft that's fun, is looking at what some of these guys produced, where they were drafted.
Yeah. It's so hit or miss.
So hit or miss.
Okay, keep it going.
All right, that was Chris Jones at 6. Now here we go at 7. I went with a go-long featured pass rusher, Ngakoue.
Ooh, unique Ngakoue.
Joey Bosa, career sacks, 58.5. Ngakoue, 55.
Wow.
So he has to be in that. To me, they have to be if you knew you're getting a defensive end that's going to give you 55 sacks, you're taking it. He redraft.
Yeah.
This guy has bounced. This is how good he is.
Keep talking. How crazy. I gotta find this stat if you want to keep talking.
I will. Or how crazy he is. Because why is he bouncing around? I'll never understand it.
That's what's
I do really, understand it, but
it
goes to show you that that's how, where he's too good. Like, he should have a home, like, to have that type of production.
He would tell you that it all stems from the Twitter beef with the son of the Jaguars owner.
It's fair. I mean,
but it's insane. I mean, you look at his numbers. Only I didn't want to misquote it, but I want to say only 4 players in NFL history have 8 sacks, like, in their first 5 years, right? And he's one of them, and the other ones are Hall of Famers.
See?
So it's just bizarre that he's moved from team to team to team.
Have you heard anybody talk about this is fun exercise.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anybody talk about this redraft before. I like that you brought this up, because here's a guy where I've always liked him too. And when you actually study it and look back, he should have been a top 10 pick.
The first step that he possesses is
it's
the best,
and can't find. Hard.
He's undersized, obviously, and you have to somehow scheme up ways so he doesn't get exposed in the run game. But he's playing that wide 9 Leo position now, back with Gus Bradley.
You're going to give up, if you're a special pass rusher, you can live with the run stuff.
Because one play can change a game.
Yeah, as long as you're not, like I always say, if you're not fatal flaw, and he's not. I mean, he's tough. I mean, he's going to try. But his job is to get to the quarterback.
The very first play of the very first 11-on-11 period that I was at.
Oh, when you were in Indy?
Blew it up. blew it up. I mean, it was he from snap to handoff. He was there. And I don't think he was offsides. The refs on scene did not call him offsides for what it's worth, but it is.
And I think
ridiculous.
where he was drafted where he was, because I think he was labeled as maybe just that type of, maybe not an every down player. But he's clearly.
The boots on the ground there in Indy say he's been like that every day too. I mean, you look at the Colts defense: Yannick Ngakoue, DeForest Buckner, Shaquille Leonard, no longer Darius, Stephon Gilmore, Kenny Moore. You've got studs at each level.
Buckner I didn't put in the redraft for a top 10.
That's interesting.
Not saying he's not a first rounder. I think Chris Jones has been more impactful, but Buckner is not a bust by any means. I think in the redraft he falls back a little.
Yeah, he is a player that I think his peers think maybe is a little overvalued.
He's a good player. Like I said, not a bust. I just don't think you're valuing him top 10. Or he went top. What did he go? Top 5?
He went 7 to the Niners, and then they trade him away.
So I mean, who would you want, Ngakoue or him? Just knowing what you know.
Boy,
pass rush versus.
I'd go with the edge rusher because
that's a value.
Yeah.
All right. Now the next. All these, like I said, I'm not held to any of these, but based on production, knowing another Titan, the safety, Kevin Byard.
What a draft for the Titans.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Conklin, Byard, Henry.
Now Conklin was not. I didn't include him on a top 10,
right?
Because I don't think he's that, but he's certainly a good player.
He's been a little banged up.
He's a good player.
He's in Cleveland.
I've watched him. Right. He's a good player.
Gone.
He's not a game. He's not like a difference maker,
right.
But he's good. But point being,
Kevin Byard,
23 career picks.
Yeah.
Tell me that before the draft, top 10. You can't. That's a value you can't. He had 8 in 1 year. That crazy year, but
he did. He's just around the ball.
He was in college.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the whole NFL, including us, I was a little concerned about his overall coverage ability. Like, just was he a true? Could he make those plays in the league? That's the ball hawking stuff, and he did. I overthought.
He went 64th overall.
Right.
Yeah. Did you watch him?
Oh, I scouted him hard at Middle Tennessee.
Did you really?
Yeah, he was so productive there. He went to the Senior Bowl. He was worthy of. He was drafted. He should have been higher, but they hit him. They nailed him. I was definitely too hard on him. Looking back,
I just wonder, as a scout, how do you figure out which safety is going to be around the ball?
Usually,
he just has that ability to be around.
We've done these studies. There's been safeties that have so much ball production and it doesn't translate. Whether it's speed, length, opportunity in the NFL, that's hard to figure out.
Here's a guy that you had. I mean, I think you're still with the Bills, like a Kenny Ladler.
From Vandy.
In Vandy. In college, he had an insane amount of interceptions, right?
But so what you can tell, so I guess it's not a guarantee that they'll have the same production, but it does tell you they have ball skills.
He just didn't have the speed. I mean,
he had some limitations. Yeah. But the one thing you at least know they have the ball skills to finish the play. Where Darby, we always talk about Darby, the one thing that keeps him from being, if you redraft, he'd be a top 10 possibly redraft. He probably might be anyway. I would have to look at that. But the thing that keeping him from being elite was the ball skills.
Which it's so important. I mean, this league is based on turnovers.
Jaylen Ramsey has ball skills.
You watch these clips from like Cowboys training camp, right? Where Diggs is just getting burnt by it's either concerning because he's getting burnt by a guy at the bottom of the roster, or you say,
I gotta tell you,
he forced all those turnovers last year. It doesn't matter.
One-on-ones, worst way to judge anybody.
Really?
You could find a bottom of the roster receiver can beat the best corner. It's unfair. It's unfair. So it happens. You shouldn't base it on that.
He had to delete his Twitter account.
It got a little crazy.
Which, I mean, Twitter sucks, but who cares? If you were really like worked up about what people were tweeting at you, like who cares?
It's a who cares. I'm surprised he cares.
He clearly cares.
He cares. I'm surprised.
11 interceptions last year brought him back for 142 yards.
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, there's something about him where, yeah, it's interesting as a scout. You have to find that somehow, and film tells you something. Sitting down with a guy tells you something.
I didn't, that was after me. I didn't scout him in college.
Yeah.
I think from people I've talked to, I think they're a little surprised at his success.
Really?
A little bit.
Well, let's see if he can keep it up.
It's hard.
He did get beat.
I mean, a lot of those guys sometimes that get a lot of interceptions give up a lot. So
because they're getting thrown at a lot,
They get thrown because they know that those guys are going to take chances.
That's why Richard Sherman is the first ballot Hall of Famer, because he just was not thrown at much at all.
No, people just stay away.
Still picked it up.
Yeah, good point.
Well, you guys had a hell of a game out there in Seattle. I remember.
Oh
man, that was one of those games where I'm like, the Bills have no shot.
That was the year they were. Oh, the Bills.
2016.
16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Monday night. Yeah,
it was wild. I remember
Tyrod had a hell of a game.
No, I remember thinking to myself, like, to see Tyrod on the big time like that.
Yeah.
Out in because I remember that was my first time being out in Seattle. I was like, this is on Monday night. I was like, dang, Tyrod he likes his prime time. He's not
loudest stadium I've ever been in. I mean, you worked for the Saints.
I always go Saints, but that one clearly is debatable. It's certainly loud.
All right, I'm sorry. Back to the redraft.
No, that was good. So now, okay, so that was number 8. Now here's the next group, and we can kind of stack them how you want. Ezekiel Elliott, James Bradbury, Michael Thomas, Saints, Judon, Kenny Clark.
Whew.
So of those 5, I'll give them to you again.
I mean, this is a really good draft. I know you were kind of poo-pooing it.
No. This is a redraft now. Remember, we're pulling these guys to get our top 10. We bumped a lot of guys from that first round out of here.
Can I throw another one in there?
Yeah, keep throwing them.
Xavier Howard.
Oh, I missed him. That's a miss by me. He's top 10.
Yeah. Xavier Howard, there he is. 38 overall to Miami.
That's a miss on my part. He would be, oh my God. I would put him probably he's after Ramsey.
Shit, I got another miss.
Go ahead.
You completely dismissed this guy. Kristen Hackenberg.
I did see him when I came across. I just laughed. I said, wow, somebody actually did.
I mean, he could have been a Bill. Could have been the one that got away, they say. Right? There's or may not have been some interest in him.
Well, he's not in Baltimore. So that interest, he's not where, but that's the redraft though.
Yeah.
Somebody did like him. It wasn't just, you know what I mean? People like him.
Yeah.
Just like people look at some of our drafts, they do the same thing with some players. But
all right.
So I totally missed him. That's my fault. He's a no-brainer. Like I would put him above, I don't know how I missed him, but I would take him over Ronnie Stanley.
Really?
Yeah, I would. He's that good. I missed him. I just didn't see his name.
One of those players.
He's a redraft top 5. He's right after Ramsey. He's that good. There's nothing he can't do.
They're going to need him.
Like absolutely nothing. His ball skills, cover. He may have better cover skills than Ramsey.
Really?
Ramsey just has that insane length that is a mismatch.
I'd love to know what Jaylen Ramsey bought Aaron Donald as a thank you gift for that last play of the Super Bowl. If people haven't listened to it yet, Paul Denner Jr., the exceptional Bengals beat writer, came on the Go Long podcast to chat with me about that game and everything Bengals. But man, I totally forgot how that last play was all.
I mean,
where Donald is kind of lassoing Burrow to the turf, when he kind of just desperately throws it. Burrow audibled at the line. He sent Jamar Chase deep. One-on-one, press man, Jaylen Ramsey, Super Bowl on the line, fourth down, Jim. And he sends Chase deep.
And was it there?
Ramsey falls down. It's
Donald
there.
Made the play.
And Donald made the play. I mean, it's
pass rush.
Imagine if Donald doesn't get there and Burrow hits that throw, how everything changes. Everything we think about Sean McVay, because up until 3 minutes, he was getting out coached. Everything about Joe Burrow, which is already, he'd be entering a totally different stratosphere. And then Jaylen Ramsey. I mean, he would have been a Super Bowl GOAT on the level of any Super Bowl GOAT ever.
It's what we talked about last pod. If Tart makes that interception, we're not talking about the Rams. So it's 2 plays. That's how luck is involved in winning a Super Bowl. That's why we talk about the window.
Yeah.
The window involves luck. And the Rams got it. They got their Super Bowl. But that's how hard it is. Like, they shouldn't even been there.
I know.
If Tart makes that pick, they shouldn't have beat the Bengals. Yeah. If they just get Donald for a second. That's a good point.
I mean, Matthew Stafford's reputation is
it's considered they went all in, it didn't work. Stafford can't get it done. Now it
is funny to see the Bills kind of in on Odell Beckham, where I think I remember, and I agreed with Brandon Beane at the time. I am paraphrasing, but he was kind of poo-pooing the idea of super teams and dream teams and all that stuff. Where
once you can poo-poo it, but once you have the quarterback, you're like, we better get this done like now, or else it's on us.
I mean, Odell was maybe a guy I was wrong on last year. I mean, I was kind of, Green Bay was in on him, but to me, he wasn't really going to give them anything that Marquez Valdes-Scantling wasn't.
That might be true.
But he did. He had the big catch against the Ravens to win a game.
He has something
he
to
caught
himself.
He
has something.
He surprised me there at the end of the season.
He has something left. Yeah. He can bring something.
Health. You just got to see where his health was. Clearly, you don't want to, cut into Isaiah McKenzie's targets this year.
Hey.
You don't want that.
Another go long. You pick them good. You're a good scout.
Well, maybe back
took that benching, the kickoff return, the famous kickoff return benching.
If I've said it once, I've said it many times on here. I'm really surprised that he resigned. I mean, it says a lot about Isaiah McKenzie, where I do wonder what his options really were. And we'll ask him, when we get him again.
That's
on the
show. First question. What were his options? Because I'd like to know how smart he is. I give him credit.
Yeah.
If you can play for an offense like this with that quarterback, you should stay, because that's only going to help your career.
I have to think that he had some type of reassurance of like, you will be a part of this offense.
You're
at least competing.
Beasley's gone. We're bringing in Crowder. He doesn't. The offense. He doesn't.
Yeah.
That's how you.
Because didn't it have Bill Belichick written all over it? I mean, it seems like if somebody plays well against Belichick,
he would have.
He just signs him. Yeah,
he would have. You're right. Not the
Bills can reap the rewards now. They go from benching him and maybe being close to releasing him outright to
he was close,
he could
right?
be heck yeah, it was close. Isaiah, he said it right on the show last year, Isaiah. But so if you're new around here, we got some new listeners. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie said himself, like 3 days, he was pretty depressed. Wasn't sleeping.
Because he thought it was like,
he thought that he was done. And now he might get 80 targets in the most prolific offense in football. Anyways, all right.
Who do you take between Zeke Elliott, Michael Thomas? I struggled with that one.
I'd go Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
I think Zeke's done.
I don't argue. I'm with you. The shelf life there.
We should really, you know what? I'm going to write something next week on this too. The Cowboys. I mean, where are the Cowboys right now, Jim?
I know where they are.
Really.
I know.
Look at Zeke. Zeke is declining. I don't see him having a renaissance season.
Every time I hear the Cowboys, I think about Sean Payton sitting in his lottery ticket, his chair with a lottery ticket, with Jerry Jones like on his sofa, like just waiting for that end of the season.
Yeah.
They're 8-9.
But Jerry Jones's comment.
Jerry, what do you want? What's the offer?
Like even when he defends Mike McCarthy, Jerry throws that line in, and I had options. Trust me.
It's the worst. It's not the. It's no. Yeah. It's. There's no secret. Like everybody knows that. It would almost be like if there's a franchise quarterback on the street right now, and you needed one.
Because he's getting old, he's desperate. He wants to win another Super Bowl.
And Coach Payton is his. Yeah, I mean,
you can elevate Will McClay as much as you want, and he should be elevated.
They could still elevate him,
man, but
that's not head coach.
But Jerry is still his show. He's gonna do things that are
now. That would
be
interesting if Sean, if he would give up a little of that control to get him. I think he would. From what I know of his.
Do you really trust Jerry?
No, I trust him, but Sean just needs it. Coach Payton would just need to know that he probably would just want final say, which
that Sean Payton is looking at all these situations this season and thinking, all right, which team has which quarterback.
Well, no, it's almost like he has a draft board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, who's on the hot seat? Dallas won. Do they have a quarterback? Yes. Coach, he could work with Dak Prescott. Who else is on that board?
I'll say, but why I think Dallas is in such a bad place, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
James Washington suffers that injury.
The receiving core
beyond CeeDee Lamb
is not the same.
Pathetic.
It's not what it was.
Pathetic.
Because isn't Galloway, is he?
Michael Gallup.
Gallup.
Yeah, he kind of is what he is, but
he's not a difference maker.
CeeDee Lamb is going to get a ton of targets, and you better hope he stays healthy because you lost Cedric Wilson to Miami. He had a really good season, breakout year for him. I guess Dalton Schultz to get him going a little bit, but
good players. Yeah.
Zeke Elliott, I honestly, at this point, I'd almost give the ball to Tony Pollard more than Zeke.
Seems like they're talking about it.
It's almost like they talk about it, but they're afraid to offend Elliott, so they kind of cushion any praise of Pollard with, the anointing Zeke. Oh, Zeke is Zeke. We've seen this with running backs, and I'm pro running back, but it just looks like Elliott. He is not the same guy we saw. 2016, his rookie season.
He doesn't look the same.
He's not.
He looks a step slow.
And you paid him $100 million because
he doesn't make anybody miss. Yeah, that was a good one. I would bump him out. Michael Thomas, I like. We'll see how he does without Drew Brees.
Right. And it's been a while since we saw Michael Thomas. So
James Bradbury, Kenny Clark, Matt Judon. Should they be top 10? Should they be over Zeke Elliott, possibly, in your opinion?
I'd probably take Kenny Clark over Zeke Elliott.
I'm not arguing that. I was just kind of
stopping the run, yet gives you some pass rush as well.
Yeah.
He's the leader of that D line. Obviously, Xavier Howard we bumped up there.
Yeah, Howard's top. That was my fault. I totally missed him when I was looking through those guys.
James Bradbury. Let me ask you this, Jim. I get the Giants and Joe Shane. We've talked about Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, and brighter days are ahead for the Giants. Which, post Gettleman, I guess it's not. We could probably find a couple people back here at Hamburg that could do a better job running the New York Giants than Dave Gettleman.
He really did a number on that.
But this is one of our loyal subscribers is a diehard Giants fan, and I give him credit. He'll DM me and let me know, like, hey, I don't know if I agree with this. I don't know if I agree with that. And I think I threw out a tweet like, hey, cost of doing business, you got to clean up Gettleman's mess. Like, some good players are going to get cut loose. And I was kind of defending the Giants for why they had to cut loose Bradbury. But he said, look, Bradbury's really good. Like, you want to keep good players. I was like, that's a really good point. Maybe they should have found a way to get him to work under the cap. And I'm not a cap, strategist by any means. I don't even know how they would have been able to do it. But is his talent to a level where they should have just found a way to make it work? No?
I don't know their cap situation enough, but
it's clearly they would like to get people off the books.
He's a really good player. But if they're like, hey, this for the long run, if we want to get this thing back to normal, kind of like what Bean, the Bill, Bean did that. Mm-hmm. They got rid of some players they knew could still play, but they had to kind of.
I think it's like the 5-year anniversary from Darby and Sammy and
all getting rid of them.
Yeah. Monis and Whaley.
They got rid of look, the results are pretty good for the Bills on those moves. So you can't argue the moves.
But Jim, I was told by some people on Twitter that you're bitter and you just want to stick to these guys.
I know, and I'm the one that says
all you do is defend the Bills
because they've done a great job. Like I can't sit there and say anything bad.
All I respond to these people with is like, you clearly don't listen to the podcast.
I laugh, but I'm
clearly don't listen.
Not out. Like the Bills have done a great job. Great job. Like they are. We were talking about it earlier today before we started the pod, but they honestly, it's like the way they handle their fans and interact with their fans at training camp, because that's what training camp's about. You want to get the fans involved. Josh Allen, Diggs, they've been out of their mind. Their efforts has been outstanding. I see that. I always say you can see that the players are committed.
Yeah.
The coach will always ask, guys, hey, we need you to do this. And they do it. They buy in.
Thanks, brother.
Welcome.
But you know, maybe love Josh Allen more is the fact that he's calling these adults out for seeking autographs.
Best thing ever.
You know, that might lock up the MVP award for him.
It's awesome.
Is there anything worse than seeing grown-ass adults at training camp yelling for autographs?
Baseball game, adult trying to get a home run ball from a kid.
Ooh, that's right up there. You're right.
I mean, like comparable, right? Comparable. It's just because maybe the kid couldn't catch it, so at least if the adult gets the ball at a baseball game, like if he goes out of his way
to give it to the kid.
If the kid couldn't do it, maybe he was too young, at least give him the ball. But it's the adult that dives for the ball over the kid and then celebrates that he has it.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but like one of my early claims to fame on the Packers beat at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel was, maybe I haven't. Hopefully people can Google it out there. So I was at Donald Driver's charity softball game covering it. And this is like before iPhone videos were even popular. I had a flip, or what the hell was it called? Was it a flip phone? Or not a flip phone. Like you can capture video with it, but it looks like it looks like a phone. It's so technology has evolved. I can't even remember the name of this device.
Is it so common we're just not thinking of it?
Yeah, it was really popular then. You can get videos on this. You plug in your computer, you upload the videos. So I had one of those things to just get video of Donald Driver. You know, it was right after he won Dancing with the Stars, so his celebrity was skyrocketing with the Packer fan base. It was in Appleton, Wisconsin, at the Timber Rattlers field. So it was dumb luck, honestly. I'm just capturing like him rounding the fans and going around. He gets closer to me. He gets toward the fans, and he takes his cleat and he throws it into the crowd. And this little kid got his hands on it, and this middle-aged woman just ripped it from him, took it back, and celebrated and went off with it. And the kid's like, oh.
Thanks.
So I did a blog post to put the video up online, and it blew up. I mean,
they called her out.
Deadspin, ESPN, Good Morning America. Donald Driver like tweeted out like, "Can somebody help me find this kid? I want to hook him up." And Donald Driver ended up sending a bunch of gear, and I'll never forget. I did like some radio rounds in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and Mike Wickett, buddy of mine, on his show, he goes, "Hey, Tyler, you know you ruined this woman's life." Like she was getting all kinds of hate messages from people on Facebook. I said, "Well, maybe she shouldn't have ripped the cleat out from a kid's hands."
Well, right? What do you get from getting the cleat?
I know.
You don't get anything.
It's just that maniacal.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a little.
I'm just glad that Donald Driver, you know, got in touch with the kid. I talked to the kid's family, helped them get in touch, and they made it right. I mean, to Donald Driver's credit, he went out of his way to try to make this right. But if I don't just like by chance, by luck, I'm not even claiming any like notoriety from this. It was totally dumb luck that my camera caught it. But if I don't, nobody even knows this happens.
No.
I mean, that shit probably happens all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? That probably happens all the time.
I think so.
So adults, if you're listening, just make it about the kids. My God. Like, if you're really concerned about getting autographs and getting memorabilia at a training camp practice, package up that energy and funnel it into something useful for society.
Josh Allen gets it.
So kudos to him for speaking up. You know, I think that category of person is right there with shopping cart guy, elevator guy, airplane guy, right there, right?
I had it happen to me in Mississippi, in Jackson, at a Westin. Here was the best part. Early morning, coming down the elevator, just me in the elevator, opens, guy storms on. He didn't see me though. And to his credit, he didn't. The way the elevator was, I was kind of tucked away. He walked in, and I just did my little pause. To this guy's credit, he apologized.
Whoa.
He apologized right away, said he didn't see me, and he was right. Where I was, he didn't. And he apologized, and I was like, that's awesome.
That is a win for society.
I said, hey, no problem. It wasn't like when I got Pete Carroll they were mad at me for trying to get off.
Right.
But that's Pete. He's got Drew Lock now, and Gino, and he's good.
He's locked in.
He's a genius.
He's locked and
genius
loaded.
Pete. Just building for that future. Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
Chewing his gum. Flip video.
Flip.
Yep. So that don't even remember, but I just looked it up. That's what it was called.
He was driving you crazy.
But yeah, just, you know, we might as well make this a segment, like worst person in the world, whatever you want to call it. But man, Starbucks this morning, I gotta call her out. It was I wanted to work at Starbucks on Camp Road. Hopefully they listen. But
I'm laughing already.
wanted to work early in the morning, right? Gina's got the kids. I said, hey, I got to get this Rashad White story done. I'm just going to go to Starbucks early, lock in, just bang away at this, get it out. And so I on the website, on the door of the Starbucks itself, it says they open at 5 a.m. Like I've been there before early. So get there at 5 a.m. and a woman comes over, like shorter, stocky, heavier set kind of build, and she just goes, "No, we open up at 5:30." Oh, okay. It says 5 o'clock here.
Fair enough.
No, 5:30.
5:30.
At that point, it was like 5:18. So I'm like, all right,
it's not worth the argument.
I said, okay, that's fine. I sat in my truck, waited till
12 minutes.
Yep. I gave her, a couple minute buffer.
Oh, you gave me like
about
5:32.
5:32, and go up to the door, still locked. And so she sees me there, and she rolls her eyes to the back of her head. It's like I am inconveniencing her like nobody's business, and she just kind of struts on over to the door and unlocks it and walks back.
Did she take your order?
She didn't even open the door. She's just disgusted by me, Jim.
But did she take your order?
No. So I get up.
So she opened and
I should have said something right then. And I couldn't think of usually I'm really good in these situations. I'm calling out bullshit like right then. But she stormed back, and they had like 5 or 6 workers there. And I shouldn't shit on all the Starbucks on Camp Road because the other workers there were very nice, and like they were fine. So, but I get up, I'm talking to one of the young girls there. I order my coffee, and I just say, "Hey, I'm sorry to be such an inconvenience for all of you. I'm really sorry." And the other woman was kind of working at the window and kind of gave me a look. It's like, what was I wrong? Like,
no.
What's wrong with going to your establishment for coffee?
When they open.
Yeah.
Like you went in when they opened. She still was upset. I would just say
it was the unlocking of the door and the storming away.
I would have gave her a little. I would have given her a little fist bump. Hey, you got a long day ahead of you. Yeah. Long life. You don't have to do this. Thank you. You have choices. You have options. Miserable person. You have options.
Yeah. Hopefully she's a listener of the Go Long podcast. And,
maybe that's why. Maybe she loves Aaron Rodgers. She knew who you were.
Yeah, I mean the other workers were very nice, so it's hard.
Yeah, they're Bills fans.
I wish I could describe her with more detail so everybody really knows here in Hamburg, New York. But that's what I get for straying from Spot Coffee. But Spot opens at 7, so you got to wait a little longer. You know how it is with kids. I mean, you got to get up, you got to get after.
There's no such thing as you don't set your schedule.
Right. All right. Are we redrafted out? Are we good on the redraft?
I liked the exercise. And I apologize on Xavier Howard. Thanks. That's why I texted you. I was like, "Kid, check me on that," because I knew I'd forget somebody. Huge
credit to @BuffaloWins, our good buddy Joe, loyal subscriber, New York City's finest. Thanks for the idea, Joe.
I like that one.
You know what? We're an open forum too. So if there's a topic you want us to tackle, let us know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, last topic on the 16 draft.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put him in the redraft for the top 10. I don't think
no hope for him.
No. That's what I was going to say. Not that there's no hope. I think that I've seen enough to know North Dakota State. And remember, this is a guy I would have taken right where he went.
You loved him.
I loved him. I'm admitting, knowing what I would know, what I've watched. I question the accuracy. I question the decision making. It's real. It shows up every year, and I know I don't think he's good enough to win a Super Bowl with.
I mean, I thought your description of him was perfect. We might have even been texting during the games, and you just said he's exhausting to watch.
He's exhausting. I've called him exhausting and spastic.
Yeah.
He just like flips out and he just does.
You're allowed to say spastic and spaz on this podcast, by the way.
Spastic.
Right. I know Lizzo and Beyonce are removing that word from their songs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I encourage the use of that word.
Okay.
No, that's good because it's ridiculous that
they're removing it.
I mean, it's just insane. You listen to that. you listen to that Lizzo song. I'm not sitting around listening to Lizzo songs, I promise you all. But the song when she took the word spaz
you
out.
You watch The Bachelor.
I absolutely do not watch The Bachelor. But in the song, she's talking about like committing felonies on the street, yet spaz. Like, gotta remove that. Like, Jesus, it's unbelievable.
But that's once.
There you go.
It's exhausting and spastic.
Yeah,
I can't watch it. I can't do it. I never thought I would describe him like that because he's so tough. Like, you never worry about, like, to me, when you're tough, you're usually not spastic, but I've seen enough. The Colts, well, I don't know if it was Ursay. You were out there. Is Matt Ryan good enough to get the Colts over what the AFC has?
I don't know.
Burrow, Mahomes, Allen.
I have a hard time getting there.
Herbert.
The Colts. And
Lamar.
I like a lot about the Colts, Jim.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But look where we are in the quarterback. We're talking about world-class quarterbacks.
Well, what they have going for them is the division, right?
Fair enough.
Houston,
where they can get to,
Jacksonville.
so they basically have to
Tennessee,
get it.
yeah.
Can they beat team to win 2 or 3 in the playoffs? Like you're saying, they can win their division.
That's probably their logic.
And
I mean,
that's goal
they're
number
going
one
for it.
That's goal number one. Hey, how can we win our division?
Because they're going for it. Like
and Matt Ryan's, he's not, like I said, he's a middle of the pack quarterback now. He's not terrible. He's not good enough to carry.
It worries me what is around him with the receiving core because of Michael Pittman
is your guy.
He's a stud, but beyond him, Alec Pierce, rookie out of Cincinnati. It's hard for a rookie to come in and produce.
I would agree.
And he's going against Stephon Gilmore every day, and Gilmore's been doing Gilmore things. I don't really know your weapons there at receiver. I get it. It runs through Jonathan Taylor completely. Your offense, he can catch the ball too, but yeah, I think they win the division. Yeah, I think they win the division, and
if you win your division,
you host a playoff game. They were a scary team late last season. It's crazy. I mean, they blast the Bills on the road. They embarrassed the Bills on the road. They beat New England. They beat them up. I mean, it wasn't as close as that score made it seem. I believe they beat Arizona in there too, but they just kind of fell apart down the stretch. They lose to the Raiders, then they lose to Jacksonville. They were done. It's a bizarre finish for them. But to your point, is Matt Ryan good enough? We've talked about it on here. Remember Phillip Rivers against the Bills? He missed that throw.
I said, Tyler, yeah. And they're still trying to replace that.
I just don't know if Ryan is going to hit that throw in that moment at 37. We'll see.
Tough.
Well, we were going to get into a bunch of other topics, but why don't we just save that for another day? Because we redrafted till we dropped.
That was good. Last thing on preseason, one story that is funny to me right now is Tom Brady. He's gone, left camp, and everybody's cool with it. That whole situation to me,
it's wild.
I'm going to tell you.
What's going on there, you think?
I don't think good.
With Giselle?
No, I'm not Brady necessarily. Tampa. I'm not feeling their squad. That's a bold take.
Ooh.
Because everybody's talking about how they got Julio, they're loaded. I'm not saying they're not talented. And the NFC is still the NFC. So, but
don't you get a kick out of the national reports of Julio Jones? Source says looks like the Julio Jones of old.
Jason Light came out to the GM. Can't believe how good he looks.
I want to say, what's he gonna say?
No, but
what's he gonna say?
Like Jason, I say Jason. I know Jason, but Jason, come on. You're really going to do this in the preseason? You can't believe he looks this good. He is what he's going to be fine. Julio is what he is.
I don't know. I mean, he's
still a good player.
He's pretty old.
Yeah, he's old, but they don't need him to be the old Julio.
Mm-hmm.
They need him to make 1 or 2 plays a game. Preseason. I mean, Brady just leaves.
Exhibition. We talk about we call it exhibition around here. Preseason is an overly sanitized word created by the National Football League.
Think about these teams we got to build chemistry and gut and grits of camp. We are digging in. Brady's like, I'll see you guys. I'm going to take a couple weeks.
Well, I mean, it's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, when you buy season tickets for a team, they make you buy these exhibition games at regular
we talked
price.
about this earlier. It's for the kids. If it's good, if it's a chance to get to the
No,
stadium.
but if you're a season ticket holder, you're still paying full price for
Which
these tickets.
How?
To see third string players.
That's the definition of when you have things locked down.
Yeah. You force
a
people
monopoly and all that.
I mean,
you can have season tickets,
games
you got
are
to pay
meaningless.
full price for these games that nobody cares about. Nobody's playing. Nobody's doing anything.
Man.
Who's on tonight? There's a game on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Green Bay, San Francisco.
Oh, is your boy starting?
Jordan Love.
Aaron Rodgers should get to go away for a couple of weeks, just like Brady does. I mean,
he'd love to maybe go to South America and take some.
Are they going to win it? Are they gonna, you know what? We got time. We'll next week. Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into.
We got predictions.
We got a lot. Definitely, we've got to pump those out and go along. So
no, we'll do better this year. We're still on the move. We were a little bit scattered last year.
You know what I want to do? If there's anybody out there still listening to this podcast right now, and say you're not a subscriber to monthly or annual at golongtd.com, if you subscribe right now, I'm going to send you a T-shirt. How about that?
I will say, do it.
Seriously.
Tyler doesn't skimp on the
if
quality.
You're listening to redrafts,
you get quality shirts and sweatshirts. No, seriously, you don't go cheap. Those are nice. They're really beautiful. They're beautiful.
I got a box of shirts still here. So hey,
trust me, Go Long was represented in Honolulu at the XFL showcase. Mark Ross had his shirt on. I had mine on. People were asking about it.
We're trying to grow this, baby. We're trying to
grow
all
the way to Hawaii.
I cannot wait to share some of these stories for our kickoff series of features. First week of September, we'll be pumping those out. And we didn't really get into it on the podcast at all, but my main man here, Jim Monis, is going to be.
We're going to have some good
Monday mornings. You're not going to
Monday morning evaluations. We're going to try to get ahead of the game. That might be another thing. People can send us on Twitter. Maybe some players they want, us or me to watch on tape a little bit.
Absolutely.
Is he really that good? Is he really that bad? Whatever it is. Tape is where it's at.
It is. I mean, you're going to get authentic NFL scouting at Go Along with. I mean, we're talking close to 2 decades of scouting in this league that you've had. Eagles, Saints, Bills.
It's what,
and you're still doing it. I mean, you're at the XFL.
We're doing it now.
You're not dead, Jim. You're still doing it.
No. I'm watching guys every day for the XFL now. We're trying to get this thing ready, so it's fun. It takes me back to my intern days a little bit. Getting after it, watching YouTube highlights, and it's fun.
Also, there is an XFL hopeful quarterback that I've been texting that wants to come on the podcast. So we're going to get him on next week, hopefully.
Love it.
Yeah. Maybe you can grill his ass.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. Again, thanks for listening. And if you are still listening and you want to upgrade to a subscription to Go Along, just DM me at Ty Dunn on Twitter or golongtd@gmail.com. And we'll hook you up with a shirt because we appreciate you listening to the podcast.
Definitely.
And we want
to Hamburg
keep
and
this
let's
baby
hang.
growing. Thanks, everyone.